Hello friends, so I am out here getting started working on the first animal shelter. And you know, I brought Dookie with me on this trip and he's not happy. I shouldn't have brought him, not without the other dogs. He is just a wreck. He's basically been refusing to come out of the truck. He's just a hot mess, and the other two dogs aren't happy either. Dookie poo. Dookie. I'm sorry I made you sad, buddy. I'm sorry I stressed you out. No. But there's not much I can do about it right now, so I'm just gonna get to work and love on Dookie. All right, so I'm out here working on my animal shelters. This is the first one. And I have 4 pressure-treated 2x4s. I have 2 on either side that are 8 feet long. And then I have one on each end that is 7 feet long. And the 7-footer comes across the end of the 8-footer. That way my length is a full 8 feet. I screwed them in with 2 long 3-inch wood screws. And now I just got done carrying my cattle panels over here. The 2 cattle panels that will create the top, the frame of it. So this is how I prefer to carry cattle panels in my truck. You can do the teardrop method also. I have a video where I show how I do that. But doing it this way gives you less of a pinch because you're not pinching those 2 ends together. And so it allows the arch to be much more gentle. And when you take it out of the truck, your cattle panels really go back to their original flat shape. When you teardrop it, a lot of times it will want to stay bent, which is fine if you are putting them up in an arch. But if you're wanting them straight, this is really an easier way. So I just stuck the 2 cattle panels in here that I needed, and then I took 2 7-foot 2x4s and just kind of wedged them in there on either side. Now when I'm transporting it home, I put ratchet straps through here and I secure the bottom. So even if I hit a massive, like, I don't know, pothole, nothing's going to go anywhere. But I was just carrying them from up there at the house. And so I was going super slow. And so I just did this to bring it from there to here. So now I'm going to pull these out and we will attach them there. Dookie, hush. You're fine, buddy. I'm really regretting bringing Duke. He's just an emotional wreck. And I'm seriously considering just straight up driving him back to Alabama. Oh, buddy. He would be fine if the other dogs were here, but we've taken him from his pack, basically. And, you know, strange place and by himself. That's just a lot for him. It's not really part of the plan, but honestly, if that's what I need to do, I'll do it. Because really, I'm going to have a hard time working if I'm having to stop and, you know, care for him. I can't leave him in the house. He freaks out. I left him there earlier when I ran to the hardware store. Even though there were people there, I wasn't there. And he started going down. Oh man, I love you too much to put you through that. Now, it's not easy to do these cattle panels like this by yourself. You can't really get more than 2 by yourself, if you ask me. Now, maybe you could if you're super strong. I'm pretty strong, but 2 is my limit, which is fine because that's all I need right here. Now, to bring some home from, say, Tractor Supply, when you arch them like that, they cap it off at 5, and they help you load them, so it's not a big deal. But it's just me out here right now, so I just brought the 2 that I needed. It's tricky getting it in by yourself, but it can be done because I just did. It's all right, buddy. Alright. Okay, so as you can see, I put my 2 cattle panels inside the wood box, and I've got about a 4-inch overlap between the 2 cattle panels. This will allow me to connect them together and just kind of reinforce them a little bit. Okay, next I'm going to take my pieces of plumber's tape, this stuff right here. I'll cut them with some wire cutters, and I'm going to use these to attach the cattle panel to the wood frame. And I had someone give me a great suggestion. Instead of using 2 screws, one on either side, they said to take the piece of plumber tape, bend it over the cattle panel, and then you can secure it with 1 screw instead of 2. That was a pretty good idea. I'm trying to cut these without dropping them on my camera. Or on my phone, I should say, since I'm doing this with the phone. Dead camera and all. And there's no specific number of these that you need to use. It's really just a matter of how many makes it feel nice and secure. That's how many you should use. I'm just cutting a bunch because I will be using a bunch. These wire cutters are sticking on me a little bit. And I'm hoping you can hear me. The creek is right there. Hopefully it's not too loud and drowning me out. Alright, that should be good for now. Alright, now I have a piece here of wood that I cut at 45 degrees angles on either end, and that is to reinforce the corners of my wood frame. And I like to use these. They're very handy. You can make them pretty much any size. Great way to use up scraps of wood. And I'm using it right now to hold my cattle panel up. That way I can put some on the vertical lines as well as some horizontals. Alright, so I have my cattle panels attached to the wood frame. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm taking these little clips. These are called hog rings or hog clips. And the tool that I have right here is made for them. You can see inside there's a little groove in the jaw of these pliers, and that groove is made to hold this clip while you tighten it down. Now, I don't know what this thing is for. No idea. But I'm going to take these rings, these little hog clips or hog rings, and I'm attaching my two cattle panels together. And rather than zip ties, these are much more durable. They're not going to break down in UV light or anything like that. And you can find these in the fencing area of, like, say, Lowe's, Home Depot, etc. All right, of course I did this and it wasn't filming. All right, so I just put one of the rings right there. You can see that there. And I will attempt to do another one one-handed. It's not very easy. I left my tripod up in the house, and so I'm kind of doing this by hand today. Okay, so you can see here I've got one of the rings inside the jaws of the tool, and these tools are made for these things, and I think the tool cost about $19-ish, something like that. Got it at Lowe's, as I did the rings. I don't remember how much the rings were. I think it was like I don't know, maybe $5 for 50 of them or 100 of them. I don't know. There was a lot of them. But I'm going to take this and then, let's see. Let me turn this around. All right, so right here where these two cattle panels overlap, I've got the two pieces right there together. So I put the ring around it and then I squeeze. Just like that. Look who just came out to see her Oma. You going to help me build? Huh? Yeah? I think you need your own set of tools, huh? You must have been eating. You got stuff all over your face. Huh? You got food all over your face, silly girl? Huh, baby. Okay, so now this shelter is for Sophie and Amos. There's going to be more than one of these, although I'm sure they could both fit in here if they wanted to. So now that I've got the cattle panels up, I've got them secured and everything, I need to make this stable. And to do that, I need a little bit of wood in here. And so I've got a 2x4. I've got it down here at the bottom where I want it to be as far as the width. So these horizontals or these vertical boards are going to be pretty wide because they're larger animals coming in. So it's going to be a big opening. So I put it pretty close to the corner, about a foot in. And I put the board up, and then I took a pen. Let me back it up so you can see that. And I traced the line right there where it met the cattle panel. And I'll cut one for this side and one for the other side. And then I'll do the same thing for the other end. All right, so here's the situation. I got the animal shelter frame, the base, put together. I got the cattle panels up and stabilized. Well, hooked together. But I'm having to put everything on pause because I need to go back to Alabama. This guy right here, he's a nervous wreck. And, you know, he's an old dog. He's in a strange place, and he's without his his pack mates, basically, you know, the other two, Shotzi and Ute. He's accustomed to being with them all the time. He's not eating. Earlier, I had to go to the hardware store to get the wood for all of these animal structures. And when I did, he barked and he cried until all he was doing was just throwing up and throwing up. He's so stressed out. And, you know, I mentioned in my last video, he's an older dog, and it breaks my heart how old he's getting. You know, seeing the signs of it, and I don't want to stress him out any more than I already have. So I'm heading back to Alabama in the morning, and you know, I didn't it's not going to be a wasted trip. When I go back, I'm going to rent a small U-Haul trailer. I'm going to fill it up and I'm going to bring it back with me. And I mean, there's not a ton of stuff left, but there's always more than you think there is. Believe me, this home here in Arkansas is our 20th house as adults. I had more as a kid, but this is our 20th house as an adult. And we've done a few of these ditty moves, do it yourself moves. And there's always more left than you think there is. Always. So I'll go back, I'll fill up the U-Haul and bring it back with me. That way, you know, I'm not just driving to Alabama to drop off a dog and drive all the way back. We'll do this, and Dookie, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. We'll get this guy back with his friends so he's not so stressed out, because he's not eating. He's not himself. And it isn't just him. The other two dogs aren't eating either. And they've been fine with all of this stuff going on. They haven't quit eating. They did this time. So, dude, you are kind of heavy to be sitting on my lap. Oh, big baby. Dookie poo. All right, come on. So, with that, I'm going to head back into the house, and I'll just work on some house stuff today. Get some things organized. I've still got to get my room kind of put back together. And that's what we're going to do. So you can just chill, huh? Does that sound good, buddy? We'll go for a walk, and then we'll take you back.